Maripat Donovan began their solo comedy play Late Nite Catechism in 1993. The show is a form of participatory theater where the nun is the only person on stage and members of the audience become members of the nun's school class. For their performance, Donovan has been nominated for the New York Outer Critics Circle Award as well as the Los Angeles Drama Circle Critics Award and has presented their show all over the world. Let's take a look.
Let me tell you a little bit about myself, my background. When I first started teaching, it was a wonderful time to be a nun. It was the baby boom, and I'm telling you, the first day that I walked into that second grade class at St. Catherine of Siena, it was 52 children and me. And every one of those little kids knew in their hearts that they were better than the kids that went to the public schools because their parents sacrificed. So they didn't have to attend the inferior schools. The only kids that went to those schools were wild kids, whose parents didn't really care about them. What is this? We don't have mortal sin, we don't have purgatory. What kind of Catholic religion is this? Huh? You thought they got rid of purgatory? Honey, you can't get rid of something you've already made up.
The Jewish faith, American graffiti. The Catholic faith, happy days. All the other religions, Joni loves Chachi.
You know what I'm saying? I think they were pretty angry, though. Here they are, living in this third world. Did I just see you put gum in your mouth? I can't believe that. Give me that package of gum. Put that gum in the paper. Put that gum in the paper. Now give me another $1. Hurry up. This is going to cost you a lot of money. No more of those raffles. I tell you, if it wasn't nailed down, we raffled it, huh? I'll never forget the time that Mrs. Kelly, our school secretary, won the $25,000 grand prize. Oh, she was so excited. She called her husband on the phone. She said, Jack, pack your bags. I just won the grand prize. He said, oh, Mary, honey, what should I pack, summer clothes or winter clothes? She said, I don't care. Just be going by the time I get home. One of my favorite prizes. Do you see it? You see this? Beautiful. It's called the Soldier of Christ keychain. Do you see? It's beautiful. On the front, Claire, it's a beautiful antique brass-like finish. Jesus on the front. On the back, in really little letters, it says, God protects. And I tell you, Claire, if God is really busy that day, it has this little knife in it. Just a little knife.
Oh my, how fun. Mary Pat, come on in. Hello there.
Sometimes I watch the recording on TV and I end up getting up and standing right next to the TV and looking at it real close. I was watching the show real close there, enjoying myself.
Oh, well, I've often enjoyed myself, sometimes twice a day. Very bad. So where did you get the idea to do this? And my gosh, in 1993, you've been at this for quite a while.
It's been running for 30 years. It's the longest running one-woman show in the history of Off-Broadway in New York.
Oh, my gosh. Well, how did it get started?
I was talking to some friends. My friend of mine is an artist, and he had a job designing stained glass windows for a church. And we were talking about some saint ideas that he could use for his inspiration for his stained glass. And I was telling him some stories, and he goes, this is really funny. You should do something with this. And I thought, you're right. And that's when I got started with Late Nite Catechism.
And then we opened it. What was your background before then?
My background was I went to Loyola University, and I have a theater degree, honorary theater degree from Loyola. And I started working in storefront theater in Chicago. Storefront theater was pretty much the prevailing venue for theater in Chicago at that time. And I worked with a theater called Live Bait, and they had a series called the Late Night series, which they did after the regular series because theater was so busy at that time in Chicago that they needed space in venue time. So they would have the early show at 8, and then at 11 they would have the late show. And so that's like where I got the name Late Nite Catechism, because I was in the late night slot at the theater. So I called it Late Nite Catechism. And then I opened there and we got a great review and a good response, and people were very interested, and we sold a lot of tickets, and I ran there for as long as they could have me, and then I moved on. And the show's been played around the world. I was in off Broadway in New York, and I opened the show in London, England, and Dublin, and the show ran in Sydney, Australia. I'm sorry, Melbourne, Australia, and a lot of places
So
around.
I would say, obviously, you grew up being Catholic.
Totally. My mother was very religious and very strict. We went to mass every day, and we said the rosary on our knees every night. I hated it. But she made us do it. So
Well, during those schools, tell me about some of the nuns that you may have taken some things, some ideas.
okay, when I was in 8th grade, Sister Anastasia was the Sister Anastasia was the math teacher, and I had a I was talking to her after class one day, and some other kids were standing around listening to us talk, and she said to me, "How would you like it?" She was mad at me for something that I was talking about. She said, "How would you like it if I send an F over to Longwood, which was the high school I was going to go to?" Um, I said, "Sister, that'd be fine, because I'm." How she said, "How would you like it if I send an F over to Mother Macaulay?" Which I said, "Sister, that'd be fine, because I'm going to Longwood." And all the kids laughed because I got a laugh off of her, and she was real mad. She slapped me across the face as hard as she could slap me because I got a laugh off of her, and you can't get a laugh off of a nun without pissing them off. And so she slapped me so good, and that was the end of it.
But I know getting a
That
laugh
was
at
the
that
end of fun.
age.
That was the end of the laugh and the fun.
But
I got
I know,
I got a slap from Sister Anastasia, and that affected me.
yeah, getting a laugh at that age, you go, "Oh, I
It was
like
good.
that."
I got a laugh off the nun. You can't hardly do that, my classmates were laughing because I got her.
How about any other nun stories that you have growing up?
Um, I have an association with the Sisters of the Holy Names of Jesus and Mary. When I came to Los Angeles, I was standing out in front of the theater looking at the marquee of the Henry Fonda Theater on Hollywood Boulevard, seeing Late Night Catechism. I had my Chihuahua, and I was showing the Chihuahua the marquee, and a nun drove by and stopped in the middle of Hollywood and said, "I hear nuns get in for free." I said, "Real nuns, pull over." So I had her pull over, and I said, "I'm looking for an order that I can work with. I collect money for retired nuns." And at the end of the play, she said, I said, "Come back. I'll leave 2 tickets at the door." She said, "I don't want to be in it." I said, "You won't. I'll leave you alone. Just come and see it. And then I'll talk to you afterwards." So afterwards, we made a contact, and she hooked me up with the director of development of the order. And nuns don't get Social Security. Are you aware of that?
No.
Because the Catholic Church, when they invented Social Security, the Catholic Church decided they didn't want to participate, and they declined to participate. So they never paid in for the nuns. So when they got old, the nuns didn't get their Social Security. So it's tight for them. They have to take care of all these old people, and it's expensive.
Yeah.
And it was terrible. It was upsetting to me. So I collect money. I collected $750,000 for the nuns in San Francisco, and they love me. I can understand why.
I'm sure. No, because you see the old nunneries around in the country that are so
It's
huge and
heartbreaking if you
big.
go and talk to these nuns.
Yes.
I have another little quick, not a quick story, but a story about a nun that I met in the nursing home. They have a nursing home on the second floor of the convent, and I was doing the show as a fundraiser at their convent, and they wheeled all the old nuns in the balcony so they could watch the show. And one of them I had talked to, she told me that she was in Africa, working in Africa, and she was driving a truck in Africa from the convent where she lived with 6 loaves of bread that she had baked for the other convent, going to give them some bread. And there was, in Africa, they have these child soldiers. I don't know if you know about them, but they get them and they give them guns, and the kids go out and don't even know what they're doing. They kill people. And this kid if they take the luggage from tourists and they go through their stuff. This kid was standing on the side of the road in a wedding gown, a little boy, 10 years old, with an AK-47, and he made her pull her truck over, and she thought, "I'm going to die." This kid's gonna shoot me. I'm gonna die right now. So she started to pray. She knew her life was over. She got out of the truck. The kid made her get out of the truck. He said, "What do you got in the truck?" She said, "I got 6 loaves of bread." He said, "Give me 3 and you take 3 and go." So she gave him 3 loaves of bread and he let her go. And when I heard that story, I was like, geez, she has no money to be taken care of. I get emotional about it, but they need to take care of these people. And I made it my business to make
Now,
sure that I
did
could
you
help.
did you ever consider being a nun yourself?
Well, you know what? I asked Sister Kate if she would want me to join their order, and she said yes. I said, Kate, I don't want to live in the convent. She said, you don't have to. I said, I won't wear a habit. She said, you don't have to. I said, I'm not going to give up the theater. She said, you won't have to. She told me all the things I didn't have to do. I said, Kate, I'm not sure I believe in God. She said, oh, yes, you do. She yelled at me. She yelled at me and told me I did believe in God. And don't you ever dare say that you don't. She reminded me of my mother. So, that's how I got hooked on them. I got hooked on these old nuns. And that's my whole business now. I make sure that I myself and all the other actresses that play sister collect money for the retired nuns too. We're up to about $1 million for
Wow.
retired nuns. It's
Now
the
back when, now
best thing I've ever done, Amber.
back when you started, did you write the show yourself? Did you put all the material together?
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah. Do you get people coming up to you going, "Oh, do I have a story for you?"
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure you'll tell me one before we're done. Absolutely, I do. That's where I get some of my best material from people that come up to me after the show and talk.
So
I've made a lot of friends.
your show is constantly evolving.
Yes, I've had celebrities come and see it too. I've had my picture taken with Mel Brooks and Anne Bancroft.
Oh
It
my
was
goodness.
really wonderful. They came to see the show in L.A.
Hmm. Hmm.
and I got to meet him afterwards. And I said, "Can I get my picture taken with you?" And he said, "Of course." And Anne Bancroft told me that she brought her mother to see the show in New York. It was wonderful,
How exciting! How exciting! So
tremendous.
this has been your life for the past 31
30
years.
years, yes, and it's going to continue this way for a while, I think.
All right. All right. We're going to talk more about your show and your life, but we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Thank you, Mary
Okay,
Pat.
great. No, thank you, Amber.
We've got more with Mary Pat. What a nice person. And speaking of nice people, Russell, come on in.
I want to tell people that they should go visit our store because we have some incredible products there. Here's one example, and this is Alice on her way to the orgy. And you can take Alice to your orgy if you'd like to using this great tote bag, or you can carry anything else you want along. You don't have to go to an orgy. So go to amberlive.tv, look for our shop, order your tote bag today, and check out all the other incredible products that we have in the store for you.
Yes, yes, there's lots of great stuff, some fun t-shirts, and I'm going to have to get some myself.
Yes. All right. And now back to Maripat Donovan.
Oh, yeah. All right, we're back with Mary Pat Donovan, telling us about her one-person show, Late Nite
Late night.
Catechism.
That's right.
Yes, yes. And you said you aren't the only one who performs it. When did that start from you being the sole performer until you branched out?
Okay. I got picked up by a professional producing company called Entertainment Events out of Matunic, Rhode Island, and they produce shows and ship them around. They're producers of plays, and their plays go to different theaters. You know, when theaters book plays to come in, and that's what they do. So that it's a profitable play, and so they have other actresses besides me. They can't just have me. They have to have other people too that can produce it in more than one venue at one at a time. So we audition other actresses, and they hire them, and I direct them, or my friend Mark Sylvia would direct them because he was our director in Chicago, and he recently died of cancer, which just killed me.
Sure.
We
Yeah.
were supposed to go to Houston together and see the show, but we never made it. They discovered he had cancer and he went real quick, which I'm glad he went quick because, that would have been horrible for him. He didn't want to be, he was in a hospice and he didn't want to be in the nursing home. Didn't want to be there. And I'm glad he went quick. He didn't have to go through a long time. but it killed me that he's gone.
I'm
We were
sure.
supposed to go to Houston. It was going to be fun, but he didn't make it. But he don't smoke. Don't smoke.
It's been, oh my gosh, it's been 17 or 18 years since I've had a
God bless
cigarette.
you. You're lucky you quit because it killed him. He was
Yeah.
a heavy smoker and he was struggling to quit. He was down to 13 cigarettes a day. And when the oncologist told him his cancer was not going to go away, he said to the doctor, you know, I'd feel so much better if I could just have a cigarette. After he found out that he was going to die from this cancer, you know.
Yeah.
Poor Mark.
Yeah.
He couldn't help it. He was addicted.
Now, these other people who perform, so you got a say into saying, yes, I'd like them to
Yes,
do
I
it.
like this girl. This one's not going to make it. I don't care for it. Yeah.
How many at one time are out in the field?
Well, we've got a bunch out now. We had in Chicago maybe 4 girls in Chicago that would do it, and some of them would go on the road. I would say there's 4 or 5 girls that are doing it. 4 or 5 that perform around the country.
Wow. And worldwide, do you still have people going around the world?
If they get a booking, you know, the agents have to sell the show. I did the show in Dublin. It was quite an experience because in Ireland they hate the Catholic Church mostly because they don't have divorce, they don't have anything they really want because of the Catholic Church, and I'm doing the show, and there's a everybody is drunk from Guinness. Everybody drinks that Guinness in Dublin. I was in Dublin at the Andrews Lane Theatre, and everybody is drunk. And there was a guy in the front row, staggered in late, and sat down. They sold Guinness in the lobby, which made it worse because they were all drunk coming in with the Guinness. And this guy came in drunk and staggered to a seat in the front row. And I was doing a thing. I was talking about Mary Magdalene, and I used the word spunk. I said she had a lot of spunk, you know. And he walked up on the stage and walked over to me and whispered, "Sister, don't say spunk. It's a bad word." I said, "Get back to your seat." And then at the end, I got a standing ovation, and they were elbowing him to stand up and clap. So he stood up and swayed back and forth and clapped. And I said, "No, just get out. Just get out." So he walked off. And at that time, coming into the theater was a door, and the lights in the lobby would spill into the house and distract everything coming in. So they had this vom, a space where you come in that was enclosed in black velvet curtains so the light wouldn't go through. So he was exiting through the vom. And I got in there in the black curtain with him. And I said every filthy swear word I could think to say to him. And I think he's going to dream about it for a long time that nun swore at him so bad. So that was kind of fun. I got to swear at the drunk. And I met Meatloaf when I was there.
Really?
Yeah, I was going on the Pat Egan show, which is kind of like the Johnny Carson show in Ireland. And I was and he was a guest and he was on behind me. So I was going on the set. They called me to the stage and I was going down the hall and I turned around and he was walking on behind me. And I said, "Look, we're wearing the same outfit, same colors. We must have called each other about what to wear." He was wearing black and so was I. So we went on stage and sat next to each other on the couch and talked. It
How
was nice.
exciting.
It was nice to meet him. I've met a lot of important people.
I bet you have. Now,
I've gotten a good response.
I did not go to Catholic school, but I hear a lot who did. They talk about rulers, the nuns with a ruler.
You saw that I had a ruler. I have a ruler in the picture, and I have a ruler. I talk about the ruler. I ask who got whacked with the ruler. Some of the best material I get is who got whacked with the ruler. I did, sister. What did you do? I threw the eraser out the window, and I had to stay after school. And sister made me go down and get the eraser, and then she threw it back out the window, and then I had to go down and get it again and bring it back up 3 flights and throw it out the window and go back down and get it and bring it back up 3 flights. I said, "How long did you do that?" He said, "I don't know. It was dark when I was done." So he had to go home in the dark because he had to throw the eraser out the window and go down and get it and come bring it back. That was the punishment.
In that clip that we saw earlier, there was a person in the audience chewing gum or
Yes.
gum. Was that natural or was that planted?
No, there's no plants. It's all whatever spontaneous interaction. Whatever happens, you just react and deal with it. I sometimes will hit them up and make them give me $1. One time in New York when they were videotaping, I got a family came in and sat in the front of the theater, and they were so bad I must have made $8 off of them. I had a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun sometimes when you get the bad ones, you know.
Hmm. Uh-huh. Um, have you seen any bad interpretations of nuns that you didn't like? Not for your show, but in other performances or other plays, you said,
Um,
no, I don't like that.
I don't like it when they portray them as something that's not, um, respectful. I don't like it when nuns are perfected in a disrespectful way. They put them in sexy outfits and put them on. I don't
Yeah.
like that. They're not like that at all. They're not crazy. Some of them are a little odd and have been teaching for a long, long time. And when you get old, maybe you get a little weird, but most of them are, have worked so hard.
So tell me more about the charity that you do. Now, is it just one convent that you give, or retirement home that you
No,
give money to, or
the order
multiple?
that I work with are Sisters of the Holy Names of Jesus and Mary. Their mother house is in Los Gatos, California. They have a beautiful mother house there where the old nuns live, and they take care of them. And it's on the property that used to belong to Yehudi Menduin. The family donated it to the nuns after they were done with it. They donated the mansion and the whole thing to the nuns, and they built it's on the hilltop in Los Gatos, which is the prime real estate in that area, and they own it with their stuff at the top, and they deserve to be there.
Well, Mary Pat, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. I'm looking forward to hoping Late Night Catechism comes to Vermont, which I think it would be a sellout.
I think we do very well. People are very attracted to it. I like Vermont.
Well,
Let's
come
hear
on up. You come on up and do it when you're back on tour.
Amber. I'll let you know. I'll let Russell know. Maybe he can connect us.
Oh, I'd love that. Thank
It's
you
really
so
nice
much.
meeting you. I gotta tell you, you're a beautiful, beautiful queen, and I am a very huge fan of drag queens. And it's odd because sometimes I'm strangely attracted to them, even though I know they're men, but I still am attracted to them. You know who I really like a lot? Chanel. Beautiful,
Yes,
beautiful, isn't she?
yes,
I
yes.
really like her,
Well, thank you so much, Mary Pat.
and I like you too, Amber. I'm going to be a big fan of yours.
Oh, I appreciate that because I am a fan of yours now. Thank you
Thank you,
so much.
Amber. It was
Bye.
really nice, and thank you for having me on. I had a great time,
Good.
and thank you, Russell, too.
Thank you, Mary Pat. What a nice, nice person. Oh, love that.